Available now. Link below.
Tonight, a disturbing revelation hits close to home as flyers found at a Mexican NGO urge illegal aliens to vote for Joe Biden, blatantly promoting another term to keep U.S. borders open. This is not just about partisan politics, it's a direct challenge to the core of our electoral integrity. How deep do these tendrils of manipulation extend into our system, and who exactly benefits from these potentially illegal practices? In a few minutes, I will expose a web of connections that might just make your blood boil. And at the end of this report, I'll share a final thought that could redefine how you see the battle of America's future. So stay with us as we peel back the curtain on a story that could shake the foundation of our republic, and you don't want to miss what we have to uncover. This is a moment of truth for every American viewer. Now, folks, before we dive deeper into our special report, a quick heads up on a pressing issue. As we see unexpected alliances influencing our border policies, it's crucial we stay vigilant about maintaining our health and autonomy amidst these unsettling shifts. Testosterone, also dubbed nature's steroid, could be your ally in boosting resilience without the drawbacks of traditional supplements. Amidst growing controls on such natural aids, Black Forest Supplements is stepping up, offering a buy-two-get-one deal on testosterone. Don't miss out. Visit blackforestsupplements.com/news to enhance your strength against the tide of manipulation. Together, we can stay ahead. Now let's get back to our unfolding story. It begins at the Resource Center, Matamoros, a Mexican NGO where flyers have been distributed with explicit instructions for illegal aliens to vote for Joe Biden. Now, these flyers, found plastered over the walls of Port-a-Potties and handed out to migrants seeking assistance, carry a bold message. Quote, "Remember to vote for President Biden when you are in the United States. We need another 4 years of his term to stay open." Now, this operation isn't just a local initiative. RCM is linked to several high-profile Soros-funded groups such as Save the Children, Team Brownsville, Texas, and Angry Titas and Abuelas, all known for their active roles in aiding illegal immigration. Now, diving deeper, it becomes evident that these organizations are not merely acting out of humanitarian concern. Documents obtained by watchdog groups reveal that Alejandro Mayorkas, a former board member of HIAS, which has significant ties to these NGOs, met recently with representatives from these organizations. HIAS itself is historically linked to George Soros' Open Society Foundation, a foundation that has long been criticized for its role in influencing U.S. domestic and foreign policies. Now, the implications of these meetings are far-reaching. Under Mayorkas' tenure as a board member of HIAS, he received numerous grants from the Soros Foundation, directly benefiting from the financial support that fuels its operations. Now, this is not a solitary case. RCM, under the leadership of Gabby Zavala, has extended its influence into border politics. Zavala, a former organizer for La Unión del Pueblo Entero, LUPE, another group partnered with the Open Society Institute, continues to operate despite legal setbacks such as the forfeiture of the 501c3 registration in Texas, showing a persistent effort to keep their operations running. Adding another layer, recent video evidence uncovers the extensive support RCM offers to illegal immigrants. This includes footage displaying the controversial flyers found everywhere from porta-potties to walls within the RCM location, clearly aiming to influence voting behaviors. Let's take a look at this moment. There it is. Right there. There's the flyer right there in the porta-potty. Hung up in all the porta-potties. Wow. There it is. Vote for Biden. Unbelievable. Porta-potty after porta-potty. Now, additionally, an interview with RCM founder Gabby Zavala reveals her candid ambition to assist as many illegal aliens as possible before what she anticipates as a political shift with President Trump's potential re-election. Listen to this short clip.
In all honesty, we're just trying to help as many people as possible before Trump gets reelected. So.
Now, in a fiery exchange captured on video, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene confronts the impeached DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas with evidence found in those Mexican Port-a-Potties, flyers urging illegal immigrants to vote for Biden. And Greene passionately argues that the open border policy championed by Mayorkas is not just problematic, but verges on treason due to its deep-seated corruption. And in response, Mayorkas admits a startling lack of oversight concerning illegal immigrants' ability to register and vote, stating, "We do not oversee the election enrollment process." Now, what you're about to see lays bare the intense debate and the serious allegations. Watch.
Ms. Greene, the gentlelady from Georgia, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayorkas, we do not have a country without a secure border, and we cannot have a safe country. We cannot protect our own democracy without protecting our elections. That is a fact. The open border is the #1 issue across America in poll after poll, and that is exactly why this committee impeached you. Mr. Secretary, the Oversight Project released a bombshell report last night on your connection to the dark money NGO industrial complex of illegal immigration. I know you saw this from one of my colleagues just earlier. They found flyers throughout the Resource Center Matamoros refugee camp in Mexico telling illegal aliens, reminder to vote for President Biden when you are in the United States. We need another 4 years of his term to stay open. Eyewitnesses saw the flyers also being handed out to migrants who were using RCM for assistance in coming to the United States. In an audio recording, the founder of RCM, Gabby Zavala, by the way, we maybe should subpoena her to the committee, agreed that they need to help as many people as possible before President Trump gets reelected. RCM is an operation that houses functions for the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, which helps migrants enter the United States, and you're familiar with their work. We know that you served as a former board member of this group that funds illegal immigration. And they're very proud of you, Mr. Secretary. They congratulated you on your nomination. You worked as a board member of an NGO that is working in conjunction with other NGOs, which are not only financing the invasion of the country, but also telling illegal aliens to vote in the United States elections. They are telling illegal aliens, non-citizens, to come vote for Joe Biden. That's your boss. This is corruption at the deepest level. As a matter of fact, I would call it treason. It's treason because these people have declared war on our citizens by raping our women, our children, and murdering people. Like Laken Riley, you're familiar with her, right?
Congressman, our heart breaks.
Are you familiar with Laken Riley?
I am familiar with the case.
You should have deported her so that she could be alive today. Her parents would have appreciated that. And also Kayla Hamilton, who was brutally raped and murdered by a cartel member. Her mother came and spoke to us. She didn't deport him either. You let him in the country. You, Mr. Secretary, have allowed over 10 million illegals, probably higher than that, could be closer to 15 million, we don't know, to invade our country. You've allowed the cartels to make billions and billions. As a matter of fact, you're probably the best business partner they could ever have. They make all this money in human trafficking and drug trafficking at our border. You've allowed approximately 300 Americans to be murdered every single day from fentanyl that comes across our border. And now you're aiding NGOs to steal our elections through your budget. I demand proof of citizenships in our elections, and that is something every single member of Congress should care about. We don't need illegal aliens voting in our elections. We're supposed to be here talking about your budget, but we're talking about how money is being used to make sure people come into our country are able to get a social security number in which they can register to vote. And on that note, Mr. Mayorkas, I demand that Chuck Schumer holds your impeachment trial in the Senate, because that's exactly what we should be focused on right now. Mr. Chairman, I yield the remainder of my time.
These revelations paint a concerning picture of the lengths that some organizations will go to influence the U.S. electoral process. Furthermore, the problem doesn't stop at NGO-influenced massive complexes built in Reynosa, Mexico, designed to house illegal migrants, have been funded by U.S. taxpayer dollars. These facilities are capable of housing thousands of migrants, with current estimates suggesting that each complex holds around 1,000 individuals. Now, the infrastructure exposed by drone footage highlights a systemic issue that transcends mere policy disagreements. It's an orchestrated effort funded by American taxpayers to maintain an influx of illegals, potentially influencing electoral demographics. Let's go now to the footage with Ben Berquam.
Let me ask you, would you build a multi-acre, multi-million-dollar facility that holds several thousand illegals if you were planning on fixing the illegal immigration problem? Would you build 2 multi-acre, multi-million-dollar facilities that each hold several thousand illegal aliens if you were planning on fixing the illegal immigration problem? It's pretty clear the answer is no, you wouldn't. But that's exactly what the Democrats with your tax dollars have done in Reynosa, Mexico, at the Santa de Vida 1 and Santa de Vida 2 locations. Massive complexes. Right now, we're being told there's about 1,000 in each one of them. They can hold several thousand each. But on top of that, there are tens of thousands of people in the city of Reynosa renting rooms from people, and hundreds more right along the river at makeshift camps. This is what the Democrats are doing. And it's not just in Reynosa, Mexico. It's like this in every border city in Mexico. The Democrats are not planning on fixing this problem. This is the new Democrat industry. I call it the illegal alien industrial complex. But they aren't planning on fixing it. They are making too much money. The big question, the place we need to spend some time and some money, is investigating how many of these politicians that are supporting this are being directly paid off by the cartels. Is Secretary Mayorkas, is Secretary Blinken with these new welcome centers spending your tax dollars? And every politician that is getting money from the cartels needs to be not just thrown out of office, but put into prison. The Santa de Vida 2, the Way of Life 2 shelter, what they show you is one thing, but what's driving it is another. And Haiti is a hellhole, in part because of people like Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, the United Nations, and all of these organizations pretending to care, not doing a damn to actually help the countries, just inviting more people to flood into our country, ultimately to destroy our country from within. That's what's happening right here. And they just use the women and children as the sad stories, unfortunately. It's really a shame. Really a shame. And all of this, guys, all of this area, all of this whole area, all controlled by the cartels. Gulf Cartel controls this whole thing. So anything happening here is controlled by them. That's the reality of this. They want to paint pretty murals and make it seem like they're humanitarians, but the reality is they're creating the hell that the people here and around the world are having to live with, and ultimately the hell that's coming to America if we don't stop them. I want you to look at, how huge these facilities are, but then also look at, we just came from Houston, look at the size of Catholic Charities in Houston. This is just one of their buildings. They are making hundreds of millions of dollars. In fact, I heard this was several months ago, they've made over $3 billion since Joe Biden took office from helping traffic illegals into America. $3 billion, which ironically is the same amount of money that they lost during the child molestation cases. They're backfilling the coffers that they lost with the money of the invasion. And they're only one of the 9 major NGOs that are doing this, and the hundreds of smaller communist NGOs down below them, like El Otro Lado, like Pueblos Sin Fronteras, like Centro Sin Fronteras. All of these organizations undermining America from within, undermining Mexico from within, undermining every country's sovereignty from within. You are the key to stopping it. Trump 2024 and MAGA 2024. That's the only way. And pray, and pray. Bring God back into our countries. Bring God back into the world. Get rid of these demons that are running it right now.
couldn't agree more. Now, the narrative that unfolds is disturbing. Mayorkas, who served on the board of HIAS until 2020, who's been a known advocate for more liberal border policies and seems to be connected deeply with the entities pushing for these changes. His involvement with these NGOs, coupled with the financial backing from Soros, paints a picture of a concerted effort to alter the U.S. political and social landscape through immigration. To deepen understanding, it's crucial to recognize the ties that Alejandro Mayorkas, the former board member of the NGO in question, has with the Open Borders lobby. Many Americans are unaware of the extent to which Mayorkas is intertwined with groups advocating for less stringent border controls. This next video segment provides a detailed analysis of Mayorkas' connections and activities, laying bare the significant influence that he wields in these circles. For a clear picture on how deeply embedded these relationships are, take a look.
Alejandro Mayorkas is the chief architect of the American border crisis.
Right now, the House is trying for the second time to impeach Biden DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
The yeas are 214 and the nays are 213. The resolution is adopted.
You've seen the videos of the crisis at our southern border. You've read the tragic stories of the Americans who have been killed by the drugs and crime pouring into our country. You may have even read about the ways in which Mayorkas' policies at the Department of Homeland Security have facilitated this disaster. But what you might not know is that Mayorkas' role in our open borders crisis started years before he joined the Biden administration. Prior to his current position as the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Mayorkas served on the board of the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, or HIAS. The organization is part of a sprawling coalition of NGOs, activist groups, and nonprofits, hailing from a wide range of both religious and secular backgrounds that partner with both the United Nations and the U.S. government to push for open borders. The Biden administration's connections to this network run deep, well beyond Mayorkas and HIAS. Robin Marcos, the director of Biden's Office of Refugee Resettlement, previously served as the senior director of Resettlement, Asylum, and Integration Programming for the International Rescue Committee, a powerful NGO that helps to aid and coordinate the flow of immigration up to the U.S. border. Katie Tobin, who served as a senior border advisor on Biden's National Security Council, previously worked for Annunciation House, a major Catholic immigration nonprofit which is currently being sued by the state of Texas for helping to facilitate illegal immigration. Mayorkas joined the board of HIAS in 2020. HIAS bills itself as the world's oldest refugee agency. The group was founded in 1881 and was originally dedicated to aiding and advocating for Jewish refugees fleeing persecution in Russia and Eastern Europe. Over the past few decades, however, the group's focus has expanded to include all refugees of every religious and national background. The group's leaders see themselves as humanitarians who help to provide vital services to refugees and asylum seekers around the world.
Heights. Welcome the stranger. Protect the refugee.
But in practice, HIAS and groups like it play a critical role in our open borders crisis. At the government level, HIAS regularly lobbies for open borders, amnesty, and uncontrolled immigration. On the ground, the group actively facilitates the ongoing invasion, with everything from cash cards and vouchers for immigrants arriving at our border, to Spanish language maps showing immigrants how to get here, to providing tents, shelter, and legal and medical services for immigrants to use during their journey up to the U.S. border. Once they've made it into America, HIAS helps to resettle them in communities across the country. All of this is funded by your tax dollars. HIAS had an operating budget of more than $162 million in 2022. Nearly half of its funding came from government grants, including from Mayorkas' DHS. Millions of tax dollars in those government grants were explicitly earmarked for the group's efforts to fund and support immigration from South America. Since Biden took office, the number of tax dollars being funneled into HIAS has skyrocketed. Last year, the group received more than $100 million from the U.S. government. Alejandro Mayorkas and groups like HIAS hold a utopian vision of immigration policy, a world without borders. But in the real world, their policies do not lead to utopia. They lead to death destruction, and misery. The crisis at our border is living proof. For more stories...
Wow. Absolutely groundbreaking information there. Now, in another revealing piece, Save the Children received over $650,000 from the Soros Open Society Foundation and has provided grants to other border support organizations such as Team Brownsville. Now, in the funding trail not only highlights the financial circuits connecting these groups, but also raises questions about the true intent behind their generous philanthropy. The stakes are high as the integrity of the U.S. election system is under threat. The push to mobilize illegal voters via misleading and possibly unlawful means signals a serious breach of legal and ethical standards that are supposed to safeguard American democracy, or rather, our republic. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, tonight's revelations have led us to a troubling intersection of unchecked policies and potential electoral manipulation. We've seen Mexican flyers, Port-a-Potties, explicitly urging illegal immigrants to vote in U.S. elections, suggesting a coordinated effort to influence our democratic process in our republic. This is not just about policy disagreements. It's about the integrity of our nation and the sanctity of every American vote. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's confrontation with DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas brought to light not just frustration, but a scathing indictment of what she calls treasonous actions at the highest levels of government. Mayorkas' own admission of lacking oversight in voter registration processes for immigrants leaves us questioning who is safeguarding America's electoral system. Now, the story is a reminder of the vigilance required to maintain the principles upon which our nation was founded. As citizens, we must remain informed and engaged, ensuring our voices and votes truly shape the future of our country.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.